Hello everybody, I am back from my trip, which was the longest trip that I have ever done at 3.5 weeks. And I also broke my record on the number of records that I have brought back from my travels. My previous record was my previous USA trip, and then I bought 49 CDs, 1 LP, 1 cassette and 1 7-inch single. And this time I bought 31 CDs, 21 LPs, 1 7-inch single and 1 12-inch single. So let's start with the Canadian part, Montreal and Toronto, and specifically HMV. Both towns had HMV shops, and they were both located just 1 block away from our hotel, so we visited them several times. The one in Montreal was the better one of the two. It had a far wider selection of records, specifically CDs, also wider selection on vinyls, but neither one of those had a wide selection of vinyls. And I didn't buy any vinyl from Montreal HMV, but let's start with those that I bought from there. So my very first purchase from Canada was Alison Krauss and Union Station Paper Airplane. Great way to get started. And I wanted to buy Canadian artist record from Canada, so I bought Neko Case, Middle Cyclone. I don't know if it's Nico Case, but it's written with an E, so I say it's Neko Case. Leonard Skinner, Street Survivors, but this is not the official album. These are the rejected recordings. They recorded this album first, then they rejected those recordings and re-recorded the album, which was then released. So these are the rejected recordings. This is one that I have listened to. Out of all of these records, I have listened to about half by now, but the other half is still I haven't had time to listen to them. But yeah, some of these are very similar to the versions that got released later on. There's only like a difference in mixes, but some of these versions are quite different. This one also includes 5 live tracks, which are the last known live recordings from the original band. Some time ago, Blackmore Rules watched my video on Triumph, and he noticed my disappointment on the sound quality on the Stages live album, and he mentioned to me that this one, live at the US Festival, was available, and this is a CD and DVD set. I haven't watched the DVD, but the CD is far better sounding than Stages album. So thank you, Craig. Mostly I was very disappointed in the condition of the vinyl albums on second-hand stores in Montreal. So I didn't really buy much vinyl from Montreal, but the best store that I visited there was this one, and that was the only place in Montreal where I bought vinyl. And the first purchase was Malo Dos, their second album, Carlos Santana's brother Jorge Santana's band from early 70s. Musically this is very similar to first 3 Santana albums, so that was definitely a great start. So was the next album, Stray Cats, Rock Therapy, their album from 1986. After this I was only missing 1 album, and I did find that one also later on this trip, but I will get back to that one later. And one that I had high hopes on finding from Canada was Triumph, Rock and Roll Machine. And I also found the first album there, as I had hope, because I have nearly all of the Triumph albums except for the first 2, which I have never seen here, so I was really hoping that I would find them there, and I did. I also found the first album, but it had some damage to the spine. Not bad, but some damage anyway, so I was hoping that I would find it later on. And I did find it from Toronto, from a store called Cops Records, or Cops Records with a K. So yeah, this is near immaculate condition, and it only cost about half of what it would have cost in Montreal, so definitely a great find. Okay, one CD. One album that I have tried to find for several years, and I have seen it probably dozens of times, but it always has the same problem. On a record 1 it has sides 1 and 4, on record 2 it has sides 2 and 3, which I hate. So after finding it yet another time on vinyl like that, I finally gave up and put it on CD. Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band Live Bullet. Yeah, I have never seen it released on vinyl the proper way with sides 1 and 2, sides 3 and 4. I actually once did see it labeled that way, but when I checked the track listing, it had sides 1 and 4, 2 and 3. So if anybody owns this one on vinyl with sides 1 and 2, 3 and 4, let me know, because I don't think it's ever been released that way. Okay, I don't know if anybody has watched my video on my 4 travel bands, which is about 4 bands that at some point I realized that I have bought their records from several different countries. So when I realized that, I made it a point to buy their records from each country that I visit. Sometimes I find something from them, sometimes I don't. This time I found Counting Crows, Echoes of the Outlaw Roadshow. My first Counting Crow record on vinyl. So yeah, it was a great way to get started. And the second one is Graham Parsons, International Submarine Band Safe at Home. And I also found, hold on, where is, there it is. Flying Burrito Brothers, Gilded Palace of Sin. I usually only buy one record from these 4 bands from each country, so I wasn't meant to buy this one, but I couldn't pass this up when I found this. Okay. The third one is Iggy Pop, and I found Stooges Funhouse double album. First record includes the album, and second record includes outtakes from the Funhouse sessions. And the fourth one is Rainbow, live in Germany, 1976. And I especially wanted this because it includes a live version of Stargazer, which for some reason is not included on the on-stage album, not even on the 2 CD deluxe edition. So to be able to add Canada on Rainbow Collection and Stargazer is a great find. Okay, let's go through the rest of the vinyl that I found from Canada. And again, this is the Cops Records, Roseanne Cash, The River and a Thread. I saw her live just a few days before I left for my trip, so it was very good to find this one there. And I also found my only 7-inch single from the same store, Strutter 78, back with Shock Me live version. And this one was from another store, Kings, Muswell Hillbillies 2 LP set. This is my favorite Kings album, and I've been looking for this double LP version for some time, so it was a very great find. Next one, I don't actually have high expectations for this one, but I had never seen this one before, so I had to give this one a chance. Soul Asylum, Say What You Will, Everything Can Happen. This is their first album, and I love all their albums from Hang Time to Candy from a Stranger, but I have one of their earlier albums and I didn't like that, so I don't have high expectations for this one. But this one was sold in a store that sold everything that day for half the price, so I got this one for $7, so I thought that I have to give it a chance because I have never seen this one before. Okay, then next one was store called Rotate This. Unfortunately, we came there close to their closing time, so I didn't have a lot of time to go through their records a lot, but I did manage to find 2 finds. Cardigans, Long Gone Before Daylight. I had heard that this had been released on vinyl, but I had never seen this one before. This was actually kind of expensive for a second-hand vinyl, but it's such a great album that I had to get it. And the second one also sold as used, although it's still sealed. Crocus, One Vice at a Time. Yeah, still sealed. There's some the corner has got a little bit of a bend there, but other than that, it's in great condition. Yeah, appropriately enough for a Kiss fan, the best record store of this whole trip was in Toronto, called Sonic Boom. Yeah, this was this store sell both new and used vinyl, also CDs, DVDs, and they sold also books and record players and other stuff like that. One of the records that I bought from there was The Cure, Faith double album. I'm going to see them tomorrow live, so it was a great time, so to speak. One of the few albums from The Cure that I'm still missing. There's still 2 albums that I'm still missing. And the very last vinyl album that I bought from Canada, I had to buy a Rush album, and this time I wanted it to be on vinyl, even though most of the Rush albums that I have them on CD. So I ended up buying Feedback. Great cover album. I was very pleased with this one. The only thing that I would criticize this one is the Who cover, The Seeker. In my opinion, it should have been with a faster tempo, but not a bad version, but yeah, great album. Okay, the very last thing that I bought from Canada was this one. Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, CSNY 1974, 3 CDs and a DVD set. I've been looking for this one ever since this was released 2 years ago, but this one has been sold for such a high price. Usually I have seen this going from 72 to 85 euros. So now I found this one for 56 euros, so it was finally time to pick this one up. Okay, I'll continue with the USA purchase on the next video. Thanks for watching, leave a comment, bye.